So make sure that you guys are here 100% next Friday, because next Friday we're going to be doing our final review, which is similar to the practice test that we did the time before. And you guys saw how beneficial, for those of you guys who were here both of those days, you guys saw how beneficial it was when you guys took your test. Same thing goes with the final review. It'll be identical to what we did with the practice test. Only this time, it like your notebook, it'll have one question that I'm going to do on top and then one question that you're going to do on the bottom. And we'll go back and forth doing it that way. So make sure you guys are here for those 2 days. Week 10 is going to have all of these assignments plus this one, because both of these are going to be connected together. So this assignment isn't going to be due until like Friday or Thursday, because Thursday is our last day of our final. Um, so everything's basically due by next Thursday. And then after that, we technically have a day right here and a day right here, but those are just going to be exit tickets. You don't necessarily have to come into class unless you guys have assignments that you guys need help with, or activities that you guys have need help with. Um, but by Friday, I would like to have everything. I'm going to do my very, very best to have the test completely ready for graded for you guys by Thursday. Will the tests uh, difficult? Um, yes and no. It's, I mean, depending, if you guys did well on this test, you guys should be fine for this test. So depending on how well you guys did on this last test, if you guys did well, the final is this test, the majority of this test. So if you guys did well, then you guys should do fine. But it's just that it's long. It's 18 questions. And some of the stuff that we're doing in the bell work will be the same thing as that. May 19th, I have a dentist appointment. Oh, I'm sorry. I haven't gone to the dentist since COVID hit. I need to go back to the dentist, but I've been kind of like, I don't like people right now. So, yeah. Um, but yeah. Okay, guys. So let's get started on our notes. Look, 9 more Zoom days. Super short, guys. There's not, if you guys haven't been working on your assignments and if you're not happy with your grade, make sure you guys are working your butt off. Um, because you really need to be improving that. Um, so let's click on week 9 notebook. It's what we were doing yesterday. I'll put it into chat as well. So there's the link. Make sure to log in or type in the same name you guys did yesterday. Now, pay attention to the stickers, guys. If you guys have a sticker that looks like this, then you guys are good. However, if you have a sticker, any other sticker, it'll say like, where's your work, or almost had it, or something like that. And it'll be Ms. Gomez's face, I think. If you see that, then that means you haven't done something correctly. So you need to be working. So some people didn't do this graph, which that's the whole point, is to graph the function. And this one's solving, and yes, you did it. You did need to show your work for this, not just give me the answer. So you should have seen, the sticker on there too, and on there, and we're going to be on page 4. All right. So looking at page 4, you guys have that bell work. Pay attention to a couple of things. This says that it's a linear function. So we should be thinking about the equation y equals mx plus b. And then also pay attention here. Our table is going by 2's. So I would probably suggest make a table here that goes by 1's. Oops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We don't necessarily have to go all the way to 10, but we know we know for 2, our answer is 9. We know for 4, it's 15. And we know 6 is 21. So fill in the in-betweens so that you can find the correct pattern. Once you fill out this, and this should be your equation, so y equals whatever your pattern is, x, and then whatever your y-intercept, your initial value is. Then answer these 4 questions. Which are they, true or false? I'm going to give you guys about 4 minutes, and then we're going to go and do this together. All right, if you have any questions, put it into chat. But I am going. Hey, Manuel, we are doing our notebook. Can you put in chat your birthday? And that is the link. Thank you. That's the link for your notebook. All right, guys. So let's see how you guys did. Oh, geez. Where did I go? That's not it. All right. So some of you guys figured out the patterns. Some of you guys got a little confused. Some of you guys stopped. All right. And yeah, so let's work through this kind of together. So couple of things when it comes to this one. So I'm going to give you guys different steps. Do you actually have to do all of these steps? Not really, but I would suggest it. So step 1, figure out if we're dealing with a positive pattern or a negative pattern. How do we know it's positive or negative? Because we have a linear function. So since we have a linear function, we know that it's going to be either adding or subtracting. We look at our numbers 9, 15, 21, 33, and we know that we have a positive pattern because our numbers are getting bigger. So right away, knowing that, we can already answer this question. So the function has a positive rate of change. Yeah, it does. How do we know? Because we know that our numbers are getting bigger, so we know the pattern's getting bigger, and our pattern is the rate of change. All right. Well, question 2, or part 2, should be us trying to figure out what that pattern is. Awesome. So looking at this, we know from 9 to 15, we can figure out that. 15 minus 9. 15 minus 9, that gives me 6. So we know that this is a plus 6. Double check that with 15 and 21. So 21 minus 15, yes, that also gives me 6. But I need this number right here. So how can I find this one? Well, I just need to cut this in half. So step 3 is to take that 6 and cut it in half, because that'll give us the halfway point, which would be this one. So what's 6 divided by 2? 3. So we know that from here to here, this is a +3 pattern. So 9 plus 3, 12. And we know that that's correct because 12 plus 3 is 15. 15 plus 3, 18. 18 plus 3, 21. So then how do we figure out going up or going back? So since I want to go back, then we do the opposite of +3, which is -3. By the way, this is step 4, is filling up the table. So step 4, 9 minus 3 is 6. 6 minus 3 is 3. So this number right here should be 3. Now we can figure out these. So our y-intercept is 1. Is it? No, it's a 3. So this is false. The rate of change of this function is 6. If you wouldn't have divided it by 2, you probably clicked on yes, it is true, but it's not. That told us this distance of skipping by 2s, and we don't want to do that. We want to skip by 1s. So we have to divide it by 2. So this is false as well. And then the last step is figuring out what our equation is. Well, what is our equation? What was our pattern? Our pattern was +3, so I have a 3 right here. What was our y-intercept? +3, so +3. So yes, it is true. Now, what happens if you were like, I have no idea where to even start with this? Then what I would suggest is for you guys to start right here. Take this and start plugging in these numbers. So if we did this, we could do it based off of process of elimination. So 3 times x would be 2, because we're doing this one right here, plus 3. So y equals 3 times 2 is 6, plus 3. Y equals 9. Ah, that does work. Then I would try it again with the 4 and see if that works. And then you guys can try it that way. If this is true, then you can answer all of these. If this is false, then you have to do the work. So I'm saying that as soon as I started to explain it, there, like, the light bulb went off. And honestly, it's just like, oh, that's what we had to do. Like, you guys know how to do this. It's not anything different. It just looked scary because we had this table. I had to draw you guys another table, and you're like, oh, that looks super complicated. But like, it's not. Figure out if it's a positive or negative pattern, subtract, divide, and then that's it. It's actually really simple. Yeah, someone said it's simple, really. So yeah, it's, again, how are you guys paying attention to class? If you guys are not paying attention, then yeah, things are going to be difficult. For those of you guys who are always like, math just isn't for me, is it? Or have you guys constantly been telling yourself such negative things that, oh, I'm too dumb for math, I suck at math? No one is bad at math. They just have not paid attention or haven't had good teachers or whatever. And it's just practice. And the more you guys practice, the easier it gets. Plus, having some confidence in yourself, saying, you know what, I don't get it yet. Adding that yet is super important because you're not giving up on yourself. And that is key. So don't give up. You just haven't gotten it yet. Keep practicing and you guys will get it. See, people are agreeing with me in chat. So, again, you don't suck. You're awesome. You just need to have more confidence in yourself. And trust me, I know that you guys can do it. And I've seen plenty of kids. This is my 10th year teaching, guys. I've seen plenty of kids who have gotten F's in math their entire life and passed my class with a C or better. Not because my class is easy, but because I try and give you guys some confidence and I push you guys, or at least I hope I push you guys to be better. But for some reason, kids tend to get it when I explain things. And I'm really thankful that you guys get it whenever I explain it. But again, have confidence in yourself. Even me as a math teacher, I will let you guys know when I hate something. I hate word problems just as much as you guys do. I hate equations as much as you guys do. However, I also know the importance of it. So don't give up on yourself. Just keep practicing and always remember even if you don't get it now, you will get it. All right? Have that confidence in yourselves. You will get this. It's just not yet, but you will get it. All right, guys. So take a screenshot of this if you guys haven't done so yet. Give me a thumbs up once you guys are ready. Clap if you guys need some more time. For those of you guys clapping, make sure that you guys give me a thumbs up once you are ready. And you do have a question like this on your final. That's the thing that we've been trying to do with Bellwork is some of those more complicated questions. We're going through them with the final or with the Bellwork for the final just to give you guys, some extra help. But again, next Friday and the following Monday after that, we're going to be going over all of the stuff that's going to be on the final so that you guys feel more comfortable and you guys, know what's going to be on there. All right. If you guys turn to page 5, you guys are going to see that there's a lot of work here on the sides. I didn't want you guys to really have to focus on these. I want you guys to just graph. And notice here, there is a tool called Add Line that creates a line for you guys. You guys can then change colors if you guys want. But I do not want to see you guys draw your line. Some of you guys, like that's actually a pretty nice line that I drew, but some of your guys' line looks like this. Okay, that's not a line. You need to be able to draw a straight line or else you're not going to get the correct answers. So make sure you guys are using that Add Line tool. Hey Manny, we're just starting our notebook. We just finished one page. Here's the notebook. Let me show you that first page. Oops. Take a screenshot of this. And that's gonna and then we're gonna do page 5. So again, we want to make sure that we're drawing using that toolbar to draw our lines versus copy it. All the work that I'm going to do, I'll explain all of these steps. Ultimately, for your final, I think you have either 3 or 4 questions that's on systems. You guys will be given an option to either solve it by graphing, which is what we're doing this week, or solve it a different way, which is called substitution, which is what we're going to do next week. So if this is too complicated for you guys, I know some of you guys hate graphing, then next week when we look at it, you guys will be like, oh, that way, like that's my job doing substitution. I hate graphing, and I'm not going to force you guys to choose one way or the other. On the test, you will be given this, like a question, the two equations, and be told what's the solution. So you would just have to give me what point they both cross. So either you solve it by graphing it, or you solve it by the new way that we're going to learn next week, which is called substitution. So if this looks like a lot of work, then probably what you guys want to do is use substitution, which is what we're going to learn next week. All right. Let's get started, guys. I'm going to have a presentation over here. This is going to show you guys all the stuff that we, hold on, there we go. This is going to show you guys all the stuff that you guys have over here in the corner. And I don't know why my subtitles aren't going. Okay, whatever. So there we go. So here we go, guys. We're going to take each one of these equations, and since we're dealing with linear functions and we want them to be graphed, I need it to look like this. Y equals mx plus b. These two are not in that standard. So I need to change that. So I'm going to take each one of these two equations and I'm going to solve one on this side and solve one on this side. Again, you guys have that over here. Everything's already solved. If I add something to it and you guys want to add it to yours, by all means, this is yours. Do whatever you need. If you guys want to write yourself little notes, you guys can do that too. So I'm going to take this first equation and I need to make this equation look like this equation. And by the way, if there's any point that you guys have a question, put it into chat, or you guys can raise your hand to let me know that you have a question. And either you can unmute yourself or just tell me that, it lets me know that you're about to type me an answer or a question. And my subtitles are being up. Yeah, my subtitles are being done. So no subtitles for you guys. I'm sorry. Boo. All right, guys. So I need to have this y all by itself. So that means I need to move this x over to the other side. We covered all of that back in the first semester. So what do we do to move something to the other side of the equal sign? We have to do the inverse operation, the opposite. So what's the opposite of it? Plus x? That would be subtracting x from both sides. So my two x's go away. I'm left with negative y equals, I can't combine these two because this does not have an x. So I hate you. So we have negative 5 no you don't. Negative y equals negative x plus 5. Now, here's the problem that I have with some of these with some of you guys is you see this negative right here. For some reason, you guys want to just erase this when you shouldn't. Hold on one sec. Sorry, guys. My son needed an app and he didn't know how to get to it. All right. So I'm going to bring down the negative x, bring down my plus 5. Now this looks like that. Again, don't just subtract, like erase that guy. You have to get rid of it, not just not just erase it. So we see this negative. If you guys want, you guys could always put an invisible 1 in front of it. Same thing when it comes to this one. That way you guys know that there's a number there. It's just invisible. So how do I get rid of this invisible negative 1? I'm going to have to divide everything by negative 1. So my negative 1s go away. I get y equals a negative divided by a negative gives me a positive. Again, if you guys want to put that 1, you guys can. A positive and a negative gives me a negative 5. So the y comes down. We have to get rid of that negative by dividing by negative 1. And then negative and negative give me a positive. Positive and negative give me a negative. From here, we can graph. So I know that I'm going to have my slope. My slope is the number in front of my x, so it's 1. But I don't like having just whole numbers, so I'm going to change this into a fraction. So I can either have a plus and a plus, which means I'm going to go up 1 and to the right 1, or I can go negative and negative, meaning down and to the left. And then what's my y-intercept? It's the number back here in the back, which is negative 5. Don't forget that sign. That sign needs to go with it. Oh, yeah, you're give me 1 second and then we'll get to that. So we're going to start with this negative 5. Oops. Start with negative 5. So I'm going to start here at 0. Count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plot that point. And from here, climb up and over. So up and over, plot that point. Up and over, plot that point. I can even go down and over and then connect my dots. So let's do that here. I'm going to zoom in a lot. Some of you guys are already like moving on ahead. If you look here, if you're talking about this one, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then draw a straight line going down. So I'm going to start at negative 5. So count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plot that point. And then climb up 1, over 1. Plot that point. Up 1, over 1. And notice how I'm drawing lines, guys. I would probably suggest for you guys to draw lines. Some of you guys, whenever you're graphing, especially if you're not zooming in too much, you guys are not actually counting correctly. Like you'll count this and say that it's 2 when it's actually 1, 2, 3. So make sure that you guys are counting correctly. And I know that I'm counting correctly if I'm drawing those lines. So I'm going to connect these dots. And the nice thing about this tool is that I can extend it all the way. And I want to extend it all the way just in case the second line needs some more space. And if you want to get rid of this, you guys can. All right. Let's do the next one. So I have this equation right here. Again, I want it to look like y equals mx plus b. So I need to move this x over to the other side. How do I do that? By doing the opposite. So a positive 2x gives me a negative 2x. So that's how I'm going to get rid of it. So my 2x's go away. Bring down my 3y. Notice here I have this 0. It's totally fine. It just probably means that my y-intercept is going to be 0. So I'm just going to leave it as negative 2x. If you guys want, you can add this plus 0 just as a reminder that your y-intercept is going to be 0. So if you guys want, you don't have to do that, but that it's just like a placeholder. I still have this 3 in front, so just like we did with the negative, we're going to divide both sides by 3. And I get y equals, I can't simplify this, so I leave it, negative 2 over 3x. Again, if you want to add that plus 0, you guys can. I need to figure out my slope. When I have a negative, I can either put it on the top or the bottom. So I can put it either on the bottom. That means I'm going to go up 2 and to the left 3. Or the negative can be on the top. That means I'm going to go down 2 and to the right 3. And then what's my y-intercept? We kept putting it in, so it's 0. If you didn't, then because there's nothing there, it has to be 0. So we always start right here at our y-intercept. So my y-intercept is 0, so I'm going to plug that point right there. From here, I'm going to go 1, 2 up, and 1, 2, 3 up 2, 1, 2, 3 up 2, 1, 2, 3, or I can go down to 1, 2, 3, plot that point. Notice this is probably going to be our solution. Down to 1, 2, 3, down to 1, 2, 3. So let's draw that ourselves. So we're going to start here at 0, up to 1, 2, 3, up to 1, 2, 3, and then up to 1, 2, 3, or down to 1, 2, 3, down to 1, 2, 3, down to 1, 2, 3. And then connect my dots. Do you have to change colors? No, I like to change colors though. Oops, some of my dots are disappearing because I didn't touch my thing again, or like stop. There we go, and there we go. Now, just graphing this does not give me the answer. We have to plot our point. What is our solution? Our solution is right here in the middle. So what point is that? Well, I like to do it this way. I always go count the x's, 1, 2, 3. It's going to the right, so I know that's a positive 3. And notice how I'm changing colors. This makes it easier to figure out what my slope, what my solution is. And I went down 2, so that's a negative 2. So doing this really does help if you're not very good at figuring out what your points are. So counting 1, 2, 3, that tells you what the x-intercept is, and then from there count how many you went down. That helps you, or going up depending on what you're at. All right, give me a thumbs up once you guys have drawn both of those graphs. Make sure that you're drawing both of the lines and writing this. Without this piece right here, it does not count. So you could have done all the graphs, but if I don't see this, you get no points. So make sure that you guys are putting in the work. All right, I didn't see any claps, so I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna work on this second one. Just like we did before, we're gonna separate both of these. Again, we're still dealing with, how do you get the 3, 2? From right here. So we know that this is the point where they intersect. So I always start at 0 and I count how many x's we went over. 1, 2, 3. Now I'm right above that line, so that's 3. And then how many did I have to go down in order to touch the point? So 1, 2. So it's -2. Does that make sense? Okay, awesome. Like I said, drawing that line makes it super easy to know, oh, that's how many points numbers I'm going over. That's how many points I'm going over. I don't remember if it was someone in this class. I know someone did their assignment from yesterday and their solution, their numbers were backwards. And that was because they went up and down first and then left and right. Remember, it's always left and right first and then up and down. So your points, this is your X, this is your Y. So you're doing left and right first and then up and down. So always left and right first, then up and down. So if you guys want to write yourself a note that says that when it comes to your point, you know, whatever you guys need in order to remember that, I would write it down. If you guys are having that problem. If you're not, then you don't have to worry about it. All right, so my equation, y equals mx plus b. We're going to solve both of these, then graph. However, notice this first equation. This first equation is weird because it doesn't have a y. So that's still okay. It's just one of our, remember we have 4 different types of slopes. We have positive, we have negative, we have 0, and then we have the undefined ones. So this is probably going to be either one of the zeros or one of the undefineds because we don't have a y. So let's figure this out. Whoops. Let's get rid of this -6 to get the x all by itself. So what's the opposite of a -6? +6. So we're going to add 6 to both sides. I get x equals 6 and -1. 6 and -2. 6 minus 2 gives me a 4. So we have x is 4. So we go here, count 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be right here. Now, what makes sense? Drawing a line like this? That doesn't really make sense. Or drawing a line going up and down? That one makes more sense. So let me erase. If it lets me. I hate you so bad. So we should have a line that goes up and down. And always check that, guys. Like if you're like, wait, I don't remember if it's like this, like a wall, or if it's laying down. Well, lay it down and see, does that make sense? Does it make sense to have it like crossing the x-axis? No, it should not be crossing one of the axes, just one point. So if it's x equals 4, then it's going to touch the x one time. If it was y equals 4, then it would touch the y one time. And that you just have to memorize. I will let you guys know you shouldn't have a question like that on your final. This is just a FYI type of question. But you shouldn't have one like this. They'll all look like y equals mx plus b. I think. Pretty sure. 95% sure. So we're going to come here. Count down 1, 2, 3, 4. Plot my point right there. Grab my tool. And then draw my line going down. So it's just a line going up and down. Last period, some of these kids forgot to draw this line. Please do not forget to draw this line. This line you do need in order to solve your equation. Then we're going to grab that second one, and that second one actually follows this rule of y equals mx plus b. I see that y right there, so we're going to get rid of this x. How do we get rid of it? By subtracting x from both sides. My x's go away. I get 2y equals negative x. Again, we have that plus 0. I'm just going to add the 0 so I don't forget. You don't have to, but it makes it easier. Divide both by 2. My 2's go away. Gonna get y equals, there should be an invisible 1 right here. So I'll have negative 1 over 2 x. Again, I'm just gonna add that 0 as a placeholder. What's my slope going to look like? It's going to look like this, with either the negative being on the bottom, which means I'm going to go up and to the left, or I can put the negative on top, which means I go down and to the right. What's my slope going to be? I've been writing it. It's going to be 0. If you didn't, it's whatever is blank. What does blank mean? Blank means 0. So I'm going to start my point right there at 0. I'm going to count up 1 over 2, plot a point. Up 1 over 2, plot a point. Up 1 over 2, plot a point. Down and 2, plot a point. Down and 2, plot a point. Oops, down and 2, plot a point. So let's do that on our paper. So our first is going to be at y is 0. So I'm going to plot that point right there in the middle. From there, I'm going to use my slope. I'm going to go up 1, 2 to the left, draw my point. Up 1, 2 to the left, draw my point. Up 1, 2 to the left, draw my point. Down and to the right, plot my point. Down and to the right. Up, there is our intersect right there. Down and to the right. And then connect my dots. I still like to extend it so that it touches each corner. So again, we need to plot a point. So I'm going to start at 0. Count 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know this is 4. And then count down 1, 2. So this is negative 2. So my solution is 4, negative 2. Give me a thumbs up once you guys are ready with that. Clap if you guys need more time. I see that clap. Well, I see a few claps. What's up, buddy? All right, anyone else still need more time? Can you guys clap one more time if you guys need more time? Okay. He has a lazy eye, so that's the reason why he has glasses. Someone said that you look super smart with your glasses. He said that, thank you, that was very nice. All right, guys. We're gonna do this last one. Give me 1 second. All right. One more time, we're going to split these guys up. I want it again to look like this. Y equals mx plus b. I need to get the y all by itself. So I'm going to move this x over. I'm going to have y equals x minus 3. I'm going to add that 1 just to make life a little bit easier. And then I'm going to figure out what my slope is. What's my slope? My slope is 1. I don't like seeing it as a whole number, so I'm going to make it as a fraction. So that means I'm going to go up 1, 1 to the right, and down, and 1 to the left. What's my y-intercept? It's the number in the back with the sign. So it's with that negative, so it's negative 3. So I'm going to start here at 0. I'm going to count down 1, 2, 3, plot a point. From here, count up and over, up and over. I like ones because they make them super close together. So let's go here. Where's my y-intercept at? It's at negative 3. 1, 2, 3. Plot my point. Up and over, up and over, up and over, down and over, down and over, and then connect my dots. It should cut your graph in, like your boxes in half. So I like ones because it makes it super easy to just extend it because I know I'm cutting it in half. For the next one, again, we're going to break them apart, move the x over to the other side, and I get y equals 1x. I'm going to put that 1 right there, plus 2. Now, I forgot to have you guys try this out, but look, let me use a highlighter. Look at your equations. Remember yesterday, and you can kind of use page 2 as a reference. We have 3 different solutions. We have one solution where they're going to cross at one point. We have no solutions if it's parallel lines, and we have infinitely many if one line is on top of the other. We kept, that's my fault. I kept forgetting to ask you guys, like, you know, what kind are we going to have as we were doing these? But if we looked, I have y equals x minus 5, and y is negative 2 over 3x. These y-intercepts are like slope are different, so we obviously have a one solution. If we look here, our slope is kind of weird. It's undefined. And then this one our slope is -1/2. Obviously, they're different, so one solution. Looking at these, can you guys predict? Is it going to be one solution, no solution, or infinitely many? So type it in chat. Is it one solution, no solution, or just put M for many? I literally got one of each. Oh, you guys are too awesome. Okay. Okay, so now there's a mix between these two. One person said one solution. So let's see. All right. So looking here, our slope is right here. Again, we can either go up and to the right or down and to the left. And our y-intercept is right there. So let's do that. So +2. So count down or count up. 1, 2. Plot my point right there. Yeah, that's fine. I kind of figured. I'll be letting you see a screenshot of this here in a second. And then this was recorded as well. So if you get confused, you can always rewatch the video. And then this tells me to go do my slope up and to the right. Up and to the right. Yeah, that's fine. Up and to the right. Up and to the right. Down and left. Down and left. Down and left. Ooh, who won? Was it the infinitely many people or was it the no solution people? So, yeah. So, are these two guys ever going to touch? No. They're side by side. Think of this as a road. See how it kind of looks like a road? Like if I took a car and went vroom, I'm not going to ever crash into anybody because it's my road. Infinitely many would have been if I had this guy and it was on top of this one. So that's the difference between the infinitely many one. This one, they're side by side. They're like neighbors. This one, they just decided to move themselves into that house without the other person leaving. So, and some of you guys know, those people that just decide to like crash your house and never leave. So, if you guys have one of those, relatives, you know who I'm talking about. So that's infinitely many. So if you put one on top of the other, that's infinitely many. Side by side like this, that's no solution. If it was crossing like this, making an X, that's one solution. Okay? And that's it, guys. I'm going to zoom out so you guys can see that. And that's it for class. Oops. Yesterday was the last assignment. Take this weekend to work on all of those assignments that you guys haven't done. Your exit ticket's already up. And that's fine. Yeah, some of you guys are like, I got them kind of mixed up. And yeah, it's you again, write yourselves little notes. That's totally fine. And you guys are able to use your notebook for your final too. So make sure that you guys do your exit ticket before you guys leave. Everything's due Monday. I am going to send out progress reports today. And yeah, have a very good day, guys. I will see you guys on Monday. Bye, guys. And then yeah, I'll send if you need the first few pages, here they are. So here's page one. So here's page one. Give me a thumbs up once you guys are ready with page one. Here is page two. For those of you guys who asked for page two, give me a thumbs up when you guys are done with that one. Awesome. Page three, let me zoom out a little. Looks like this. And then page four was what we did today. That's page four. And then that's page five. No problem. If you need anything else, let me know. And everything is on video, so you can do that too.